This week on the RV podcast,
To catch a thief, an RV dealer fights back against RV thefts.
2 national parks have been so devastated by wildfires that they have shut down for the rest of the year.
In Mike and Jen's Storytime, when the free-spirited serendipity approach to RV travel that we like doesn't work.
All this, plus the RV tips, the news of the week, and your questions coming up on episode 556 of the RV podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Wendland. This is my lifelong traveling companion and my bride, Jennifer, and it's a delight to be with you. Middle of summertime, and the living is easy.
Oh, it's so yummy warm out there. It's hard to come inside today.
It's hot and humid, but so many people still building on vacations after the big Independence Day holiday from a couple of weeks ago. A lot of traffic was coming back, I saw this week, from people who got the traditional 2 weeks off and took them at the 4th of July. We, on the other hand, went to and from Elkhart, and we got our Montana fifth wheel fixed. That skirting that came loose on that dreadful bumpy stretch of I-69 in Michigan was replaced and reinstalled. We got a new hot water heater, had some basic maintenance done, and got all excited about taking off in the Montana.
Yeah, and now we're accessorizing our new Embassy RV Cape Cod Class C motorhome and already planning some upgrades. We want to add solar seat belts to the lounge chairs and an on-off switch to that pesky always-on 360-degree camera monitor that causes parasitic drain to the batteries.
So that's been on the top of our agenda. If you're not sure what we're talking about, just check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/RV Lifestyle. And you can see our review and our test cruise with the new RV and what we're talking about there. But we're having fun with it. We're bonding with it. Nothing causes you to bond with it than accessorizing it and figuring out where stuff goes. Meanwhile, we wrote a post on our private RVcommunity.com. Consider this an invitation for you to join. And I thought I ought to share it on the podcast. And it has to do with the huge Caravan RV show. It's held every September in Dusseldorf, Germany. And I think that show arguably has become the most influential RV show in the world. I think it even eclipses Hershey and Tampa. And we've been reading some interesting stories about new models
that are going to be introduced at this show, and one of them is called the RV of the Future, and it caught our attention. It's a very compact little van on the Fiat Ducato chassis that comes in under 20 feet. It features what's called a transformational bathroom.
And what that means is it uses a fake wall that holds to the sink and the mirror, that's the bathroom, right, and the toilet in there. And then it switches between that and a shower and a bath. You can use it as a restroom with the wall in position, or just move the wall. It becomes a full shower room, swings the wall to the side, covers up the toilet. And that way, in the same exact footprint, you really have a full shower, a dry shower, and you don't have to worry about splashing water on everything else because it's all contained in that little shower cubicle in that hidden wall. Everything else safely tucked away behind the wall. When you're done with the shower, just push it back up and you got a bathroom again. I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's very cool. Now, other manufacturers have also tinkered with this design.
Some of the higher end stuff we've seen that have done variations of it. I think we're going to see a lot more of it.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah. Do you think U.S. RV makers are going to use it?
Of course they are. And you already see a little hint at that in some of the different walls moving around in the bathroom. So it's definitely here to stay.
In terms of overall innovation and design, that little unit, and also the Italian-made Wingham, which is now being sold in the U.S., I think they make most American-made RVs look a bit outdated, don't you?
Yeah, that European styling and design is years ahead of what we're seeing from our North American manufacturers. I really like the Wingham.
It is. We will put a link in the show notes so you can learn more about this show out there in Germany. I think we need to go to that show.
Oh, we were going to go.
Yeah,
and then COVID happened.
Yeah, so maybe next year we'll think about that. Show notes for the episode, you can find all the things we talk about today at rvlifestyle.com/podcast. Now let's get to a rather interesting, I think, conversation of the week.
When Brett's RV and Marine had a Brinkley trailer stolen from its Billings, Montana store, the family-owned dealership didn't just file a claim with their insurance and sit back. No, they decided to fight. Brits paired up with the truck dealer down the street and issued a $20,000 reward, set up a hotline, named names, showed pictures of the stolen rig, the stolen truck, and the guy accused of taking it, and put it all together to the tune of Bad Boys, made popular by the show Cops, in a 58-second reel. The reel is now making the rounds over the internet. Today in our show, we're joined by Brandon Bretz, the president of Bretz RV and Marine. And the family-owned dealership was started by his grandparents, who created it from the gas station business his great-grandparents founded. The company now has 8 dealerships in Montana, Idaho, and Washington. And the company knows very well how theft affects the bottom line.
Brandon's here today to talk about how his family decided to finally fight back. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. Quick question. How much do you, and I guess other dealers, is this a growing trend, experience theft and vandalism?
Sure. Mike, thanks, first of all, for having me. But the theft issue is something that we battle on an ongoing basis. And as I talk to dealers from across the country, it really varies from RVs getting stolen, people buying them with fake identities and paying for them with fake cashier's checks, things like that. That the theft and the crime really is something that is always on our radar and has just always been a little bit of a thorn in our side.
Maybe we start with the theft of this Brinkley. The thief has good taste, I'll say that, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. How did that happen? It just seems so incongruous. You could just walk in and hook up a fifth wheel and take off like that.
Yeah, so we made some mistakes in this transaction, obviously. Fella came in, went out on the lot with one of our sales reps, walked through the process of picking the right RV. We matched up to the tow vehicle and the pretend budget he told us he had. He was in a huge hurry to take delivery and get on the road. So he'd given us a check drawn on his business account for a down payment of $5,000 on a Friday mid-afternoon. Told us that he used a internet bank and had to hurry to get the transaction details to the bank so he could get a cashier's check overnighted for Saturday delivery so he could bring that in to us, pick it up, and go. So our business manager negotiated a service contract, some roadside assistance, and a couple other things. Customer negotiated as if he were using real money, and then gave us a couple of bogus checks to pay for the trailer. We found out about a week, maybe 10 days later, that the checks were no good. At that point, he was good and in the wind. After doing a little bit more digging, we found out that he bought the truck from the dealership up the road the same way. And digging a little deeper, we found out that this guy is really a career criminal. He, in a neighboring county, tried to buy a piece of property with over $380,000 in bad checks. He took possession of that property for a short period of time, and he's really been on the run since.
Now, what does law enforcement say? They know who he is. They know how he works.
They do, and this is a real frustration for us. The law enforcement officers have a ton on their plate. And in the list of priorities, recovering our stolen trailer and dealing with people like this is lower. And I get it. The report was taken by Yellowstone County sometime before the transaction happened with the trailer, and nothing happened. There was a report made in another county and Yellowstone County relating to the real estate transaction, is my understanding, and nothing happened. We reported this to Yellowstone County last week. They're still working it through the system. At this point, they've not issued an arrest warrant yet, which is causing challenges with our search as we're getting tips from around the country on where this trailer might be. Other law enforcement agencies have been really responsive in checking up on leads we've received, but when we actually find the guy, we need a warrant. So we need to push that along and get some attention there.
So this frustration obviously is what sort of drove you to go after Brinkley. What? That's 140,000.
This one's about 100,000.
100,000. And I don't see what kind of a truck he has. Is that a Ford?
It's a Ford. It's a used, I think it's a 2022 F350 that he stole from the Chevy dealer up the road.
So we're talking pushing $200,000 of stuff this guy's driving around with, and
very easily.
He's got to. So I can see your frustration. How did the idea to come about to make a social media video?
Sure. It's something that we've had happen before. It's been, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 years ago. We had a guy cut a hole through the fence in the middle of the night on our Missoula dealership and came back the next day at 4 p.m, drove around, hooked it to a trailer, drove it out. We had some good video footage of that. So we did the same thing then. We blasted it out. We posted it to all the Facebook groups. It took us a couple of weeks, and we found the trailer. And we paid a lady some reward money for helping us find the trailer. Then we doubled down, put more reward money up, because it wasn't just the trailer we were after. This stuff has to stop, and people have to be held accountable. So we put up more reward money, and sure enough, we got a tip that led to us coming up with a video that showed the guy with the trailer at a specific place and time, talking to the person who turned him in, and we were able to put all of that together, and he was ultimately charged with stealing the trailer.
So we got this video on this guy, and it's been out as we record this about a week or so. What's been the response?
It's crazy. We've gotten a lot of information about where he's been that we've been able to verify. And we have been hours to days behind him. We've made contact with some friends and family of his acquaintances. We'll find him. We just haven't quite gotten there yet.
So are you working with a private investigator, or is this all your team, guys?
It's more grassroots than that. I think we've proven over the years to be pretty good investigators, and we'll find him. We'll find the trailer.
What can you tell me about where that trailer went after he pulled it out of your lot?
I don't know if I want to talk a whole lot about that. Okay. We do know. I'm not quite sure I'm ready to put that out to the world.
For people watching this, where should they be looking?
We have reason to believe that he may be anywhere between Montana and Louisiana in that north to south corridor. He has a criminal background starting in Louisiana, and he and his family are from there originally, it would appear.
And what is he camping in it? Can you tell us that? Or is he hiding it out?
From what we've been able to find, they were evicted from a house they were renting in Billings the day they picked up the trailer from us. So it's my belief they're probably using it to stay in as they're on the run, trying to figure out what they're doing next.
Okay. So what's your goal for this? Long-term, short-term? Obviously, maybe to get the trailer back.
Yeah, short-term, honestly, is get the trailer back. Find the guy, put the guy in jail where he belongs.
Yes.
This guy's left quite a trail of destruction, and most of these guys do. Long term, and part of the reason I'm excited about visiting with you today is maybe if we make a big enough deal about this, maybe people will stop taking our stuff. Maybe we'll get the attention of prosecutors and judges who. It's so frustrating when we go through this process. We've done it a number of times. We find the trailer. We find the person. We find the person who knew that the person did it. And we have this slam dunk case. And the prosecutors just want to get a file off their desk, so they do a plea bargain. The fellow that stole the trailer from us in Missoula, we went through the whole process. Never got to trial. They pled it down. The guy was put on probation for 3 years, and if he didn't get charged and convicted of committing another felony in that time period, it was as if it never happened. So long term, I want to see some change, and I want this stuff to be taken seriously. I don't want anybody approaching this guy. He is dangerous. This is a real criminal. This is not some kid who found a trailer accidentally following him down the highway. This is the real deal.
This isn't really a victimless crime. Would you explain what this does to a dealership like you with a loss like that? Besides the emotional anger that somebody actually gets away with it, this costs all of us in the long run.
Absolutely. No, it's a really big deal. And we have a little bit different philosophy than a lot of dealers, and it really frustrates the folks in law enforcement. We don't turn the stuff into our insurance company. Most dealers would. We look at it that insurance doesn't really pay you for the loss. They loan you the money and they make it up for you in lost or in increased premiums. You turn in the claim, they pay you, and then they collect it back over the next several years. Yeah. So a lot of the time, we've literally been told by law enforcement, this is awful. It's part of doing business. Turn it into your insurance, move on with life. So we pay for that. Everyone who buys insurance pays for that. The other thing, we're running a business. We've got 518 families that rely on us to run a profitable business so that we can send them a paycheck every couple of weeks. This isn't an insignificant deal. And it does have an impact on the business.
That's good. I bet your dealer friends are pretty excited that you're doing this and you're going to inspire others. What about the truck dealership?
They've maybe not been quite as loud as we have. They are participating in the reward. We want to put 20 grand out there. 5,000 for the return of the truck, 5,000 for the return of the trailer, and 5,000 for the tip that leads to the conviction for both crimes. And
we're going to get this guy for you.
We're
going to put the word out. Brandon, thank you. And good luck on it. I'm so glad that you have decided not to take this sitting down and to help expose a system that we all need to hold our prosecutors in our various counties. They have to be accountable for this too.
Absolutely.
It isn't victimless, no matter what they say about property crime.
Absolutely.
You've been a great interview. Go get them, man.
Thanks so much.
Mike, that was such a great interview, and I understand there's an update to that story.
Right. The stolen truck and the Brinkley trailer were both recovered just the other day in southern Idaho. But there's a catch here. Idaho police, acting on a tip received through that video, set up a sting operation, and they were able to locate and recover the truck and the trailer. But the suspect, Jonathan Shane Roberts, is in the wind. Why, you ask? It's because of bureaucratic slow-footedness, I guess. The Montana police and prosecutor there around Billings sat on their hands, and they did not finish the paperwork needed to issue an arrest warrant. And because of that, Idaho police couldn't hold this guy, and he vanished. And they say Roberts is wanted in several states, and they're looking for him. Meanwhile, the Bretts family, very grateful for Idaho police and getting the trailer back and that stolen truck as well. But they're furious at the inefficiency of local Montana law enforcement. That's really what he complained. It's a property crime, and the police and the prosecutors, just use your insurance. And that's why people do that. They get away with it. I know police officers are asked to do an impossible job, but a part of that job is enforcing the law. And when somebody steals stuff that's worth $150,000, that takes it into a rather serious property crime, don't you think? Anyway, the Bretts family are continuing to circulate those wanted posters, and they're asking the public's help in locating Roberts. We will let you know how this all works out. Interesting story.
Very interesting.
And I applaud them for not just sitting back and filing an insurance claim, as they say the local law enforcement told them to do, so they wouldn't have to do any warrant work. Meanwhile, are you tired of expensive campgrounds and crowded RV parks? We want to tell you that there is a way to discover amazing overnight stays across the U.S. and Canada for just $49 a year. In fact, we'll have our Saturday video about one of those spots that we just discovered a week ago. We found it through RV Overnights, and they've become our go-to place when we're looking for a spot to get away outside of those crowded campgrounds. RV Overnights connects you with some incredible hosts at farms and wineries and breweries and unique roadside attractions who welcome RVers with open arms. These aren't just parking spots, they're experiences.
Many locations offer electric and water hookups, and you can often stay for multiple days. Picture yourself waking up in a vineyard in Napa, or parking beside a working farm in Montana, or discovering that quirky roadside museum you never knew existed. These are real small business owners who genuinely love meeting fellow travelers and sharing their slice of America.
We visited 2 of them on our recent trip back from our shakedown cruise in our Class C motorhome. And as I say, we'll have a video on one of them, a bison farm that we visited and spent the night with the bison, boondocking with the bison. And look for that on our YouTube channel coming up this weekend. Listen, RV Overnights makes planning your adventure incredibly easy. They've got a great app. They got a desktop website. You just search for your route, you book your stays, and you hit the road. And here's the best part. Our audience gets an exclusive 30% off their annual membership. You have to use the promo code RVLDEAL, all one word, RVLDEAL, when you sign up. Don't miss out on this game-changing way to travel. Head to rvlifestyle.com/RVOvernights right now. Remember, use the promo code RVLDEAL. You'll save 30%. Your next adventure is just a click away.
Now, for the RV news of the week. If your travel plans for 2025 include a stop at the north rim of the Grand Canyon or a campground at Black Canyon of the Gunnison, you got to change your plans. Fires are continuing to rage across both parks, and Grand Canyon's north rim is closed for the remainder of 2025. The fire here is at about 12,000 acres and already destroyed numerous structures, including a very beloved historic lodge. And as of this airing, the fire is 0% contained at Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. All camping reservations for 2025 are canceled as the South Rim continues to burn. This fire is at least 4,200 acres. 85% of the rim is burned, but it is starting to be contained.
So both of these national parks for camping and for a lot of the use closed for the rest of the season. We're going to hear a lot about forest management and wildfire control. Everybody keeps talking about climate change. Yeah, but we've got to start managing our forests better. A lot of criticism coming up on the way these 2 fires were handled or not handled. Hey, did you hear the rumors about animals rapidly exiting Yellowstone National Park? There's been some videos circulating on social media, and they appear to show herds of bison and elk and mountain lions and grizzly bears all hightailing it out of the park. And of course, the concern is that the animals know that a massive eruption of the volcano underneath Yellowstone is imminent. It's all fake. And in fact, this very same scam was going around maybe a year or 2 ago. It's just a fake. Whoever rebirthed that scam caused it to go viral this last time, and it was trending as a Google search last week. Yellowstone rangers and people who are in Yellowstone assure the public animals are not leaving. In fact, some of the videos they think now have been AI generated. Another reason why you have to be very skeptical about what you read online.
And speaking of Yellowstone, the park had to put down a black bear that developed a taste for human food. It was the first time in 5 years that the rangers had to put down a bear. This female bear crushed an unoccupied tent at a backcountry campsite, and another time returned to climb the campground's food storage pole, tear down the properly stored food bags, and devour them. And the rangers just feared it was just a matter of time before the food-conditioned black bear would hurt somebody. Be so careful not to leave anything sitting around that an animal like a bear can say, that's mighty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Don't
They
leave it
come back
around.
another time, and then sometimes people try to feed them and take pictures with them, and they get used to people. These are wild animals. You will get hurt. And it's so serious that if a bear is food conditioned like that, they have to put him down. So
Not fair to the bear
we
or
got
the
another
rangers.
got another animal story.
If you're headed to Grand Teton National Park anytime soon, don't leave any shoes outside your RV. A fox is wanted for stealing campers' shoes, at least 32 of them and counting.
This is kind of like Dora the Explorer. What does the fox do with the shoes?
Who knows? But it has gotten so bad. Rangers are warning campers not to leave any shoes lying about their campsite.
No shoes.
Anyone else hearing the phrase in their head, swiper, no swiping?
For the explorer.
Yeah.
All right. Starting August 1st, price to camp at a Michigan campground. Popular time in Michigan, August, September. It's rising $4 to $10 a night, depending on location and amenities. And also, we should point out that 19 out of the 103 state parks in Michigan are either completely or partially closed for the season as renovations in those parks are continuing.
Some campground owners in New York, near the border with Canada, say that business is way down this summer as many Canadian RVers and tourists opt not to travel to the USA. Border crossings from Canada to New York were down 17% in June from the previous year. A weaker Canadian dollar, politics, and what one campground owner describes as a culture of fear about crossing are blamed.
All right. You want to hear more about any of this stuff? Just go to our show notes. We post the show notes. It's kind of like a transcript of the whole episode. And you'll find that at rvlifestyle.com/podcast. And we have links and lots of other stuff that we talk about. So always check the show notes too. It's a lot of fun. And while you're doing that, if you have comments yourself and questions about anything you hear today, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email. Our private email is mikeandjen@rvlifestyle.com.
Now, this part of the podcast is brought to you by Keystone RVs Montana line of quality fifth wheels. For Mike and I, our favorite state is Montana. We love it for its rugged drama, the wilderness and adventure it offers. So when it came to choose a fifth wheel, you can see why Keystone RVs Montana brand immediately caught our attention.
For one thing, we know the Keystone brands are built by RVers, for RVers. And another, our Montana high country equipped with solar and lithium is as rugged as the state that it's named after. Our Montana gets us out there amongst the drama of the natural landscape, the mountains, the oceans, the seas, the plains. We can take that thing pretty much everywhere, up close and personal, in comfort, right where we want to be.
We've traveled tens of thousands of miles in our Montana, from cross-country trips to winter campouts in the snow, and it's never let us down. As comfortable as our favorite hiking shoes, whether in a glamping resort or as we most often camp in the middle of nowhere.
Time now for the social media buzz with Wendy Boyer. Wendy reports on the issues most talked about this past week on social media and our RV Lifestyle community group.
Hi, everybody. Over in our private RV Lifestyle community, we are getting so excited about our fall rally. We're going to Texas, everyone. We're going to do some two-stepping at a famous dance hall. We'll have some Texas barbecue. We'll have our normal opening potluck. We're going to give away an amazing prize of electric bike. And we're going to tour rigs, meals together. So much fun. We're going to be in Fredericksburg, which is in the hill country. Beautiful area, has some German roots. There's wineries there, tons of history, so much to do, beautiful state parks. We would love to have you join us. But the catch is you need to be a member of our private RV Lifestyle community. And if you want to learn more about our community, you can go to community.rvlifestyle.com. And then over in our Facebook group, conversations all over the place, but one that caught my eye was from Carol, and she wrote, I am so frustrated with our fifth wheel. I want to light a match to it. What are we doing wrong? We secure everything, but something breaks every time. Now, when she says something breaks, she means something breaks. We're talking things flying through the air, it sounds like, when they drive down the road. The refrigerator door often pops open with all the contents spilling on the ground. She said that their garbage basket just has flown out of the cupboard, broke. That even a chair leg, even though it was secured in their kitchen area, a chair leg fell off a chair. So she needed some help. She said that they've pulled trailers before, but this is their first fifth wheel. She did say she thought her husband might be going a little too fast, so he does go the speed limit, but she needed some help. And boy, did she ever get some help. We're talking more than 1,100 comments last I saw. And many people said every time we take our rigs down the road, it's like your rig is going through a minor earthquake. It's that bad. And then if you add some bad roads, the earthquake's that much more severe. So things do get jarred around a lot in there. But still, there were some common themes of what you can do to help. So let's get into those. The first one many suggested was to check the suspension. Mark said he added a set of sumo springs to the leaf springs, which really helped the bounce on his fifth wheel. Second, make sure your cabinet and refrigerator doors are secure. Many use bungee cords, painter's tape, tension rods, child locks. A lot of people shared pictures of what they do for their refrigerators. Some use these suction handles to keep it secure. Others use industrial Velcro to keep it secure. And then on inside the refrigerator, some use baskets. Jeff shared a picture of baskets inside his fridge where he puts all the loose items so things don't bang around. Then the third thing is to pack wisely. Make sure you have those heavy items closest to the floor and in the center of your rig. Fourth, check your weight. Tony said, are you over your allowable weight for the axles? That will cause the springs to bottom out on the bumps and will make everything jar. So that's a good thing to check. And then finally, of course, don't drive too fast. Many agree that you really shouldn't go more than 60 or 65 miles an hour when you're towing, no matter what the speed limit says. It's just that much easier on your rig. And several said if things are flying around, you might be having too much acceleration when you're turning, because when you're turning and you're going too fast, things are going to jerk, whip around, fall out. Anyway, there were so many good tips on this post. If you have issues with things not staying in place, you might want to check it out. But that's it for me. I'm Wendy Boyer, and I will see you either in our RV lifestyle community or Facebook group.
Lots of tips, as always. Hey, are you looking for RV land of your own? I'm not talking about a crowded lot in a campground. I'm talking about multi-acreage land, your land that you can use however you want, stay as long as you want, whenever you want. We know of two places that you can find property like that. One is in Arizona and the other in Tennessee.
Kentucky Lake is one of the most visited sites in Tennessee. It's one of the biggest lakes east of the Mississippi and a great vacation spot, perfect for RVers. Tennessee Land and Lakes is launching a grand opening of new property at the lake. They're big properties that allow for RVs near Paris Landing State Park, right near the marina, golf courses, resorts, and a slew of other great attractions. It's one of the most popular parts of the lake where it's at its widest and a really beautiful spot. There are large acreage 5 to 29 acre sites in size designed for privacy at great prices for the area with dedicated private access to Kentucky Lake. It's an ideal setup for RVers. Prices start at $99,900 and they've got woods and fields and views, cottages, and more with electric and high-speed internet. You can get details and a video tour at rvlands.net. Visit rvlands.net to get started. It's pretty incredible.
We just heard about a land offering out west for RVers in Arizona. They're selling 5-acre RV ranches starting at only $49,900. It looks amazing. It is at high elevation, so you get cooler temperatures, big mountain views, juniper trees, and green grasses. And it is near everything: the Grand Canyon, Lake Havasu, Kingman, Flagstaff, and Sedona. It's a perfect place to have a home base to explore the West, and it is right off famous Route 66. It's called Greenwood Ranches, and this is the second and final section of the community. We met the sales manager, really nice guy. He bought a property for his RV, and he's building a container home on it. Check out their website for a video tour and showing availability. It's pretty incredible. Visit the website to get details and set up a showing, ArizonaRVland.net. That's ArizonaRVland.net.
Time now for the RV question of the week.
Now, this question came in via our RV Lifestyle YouTube channel from a viewer who has seen our Norwegian elk-hound Bo accompanying us on our RV trips. And they ask, can you chat about taking your pet with you and how you manage this? We have a dog and are wondering how to RV best with her.
Well, we do share our experience with traveling with the dog, especially Bo, who is literally grown up in an RV. He's almost 10 years old now, and he started traveling as a pup. And we got him in the RV right away as a pup. Let him just run in, crawl all around, got comfortable. It became a stop on our daily walks. I'd walk out to the RV, open it up, we'd go in. Then we took him for short rides, and he got used to riding in it. And that's the first thing. So get your pup used to going into it. Don't just take him on a long trip without any preparation.
And dogs, they need a place of their own, a familiar bed or rug, so they know where to sleep. and get them used to the RV. Make it a pleasant time for them, maybe with some treats. Have their food and water bowls always accessible to them.
Now, the thing is, how are you going to secure your dog? It's different in a motorhome versus a towable. In a towable, you've got them usually in the back seat, and they shouldn't be sitting on your lap. If you got one of those little lap dogs, they should be in a soft-covered cage, or you should have doggy seat belts. These fabric cages are really good. There's also some stuff that go along the back seat and come up the front between with a little barrier so they can't crawl between the two seats to get in the front seat. It's a dedicated area where they're safe and secure as you drive. For us, Bo loves the back seat of our Ford F-350. That's his thing.
That's the tow vehicle for a Montana fifth wheel. He doesn't like our Class C motorhome. In fact, he hates it, which we recently added as our second vehicle, and we're working on acclimating him to that.
Yep. So it's going to be like starting all over. But like I said, Bo is almost 10 years old, and old dogs don't like learning new tricks. For some reason, on a motorhome, he feels the bumps in the road more than you do when you're towing something. And the bumps drive him crazy. And a while back, years back, he was in the back where he should have been in one of our other motorhomes that we used to have. And it was a bumpy road, and the screen fell down on the bed.
Shade.
The shade fell off. Oh, my goodness. That was the end of that.
It was a near-death experience as far as he was concerned.
And so he never will go back there. No. And that's making one RV. He's not going back there. And we had another incident with our dog before Bo, in which the refrigerator opened and a bunch of stuff fell out on the floor, not far from where Ty, the dog we had at that time, he wouldn't go back that way anymore. They remember these traumatic near-death experiences. And it's really hard to get that memory out of their minds. So you have to be very patient with them.
And also, Bo wants to see out the window. He wants to see what's going on. That's why he likes the back seat of the truck. He can sit there and look out the window, and he's happy as can be. But naturally, he wants to look out the window and see where we are.
So we're working on figuring out a place. We're all set with him in the truck. He's great with the truck. And now we're working on figuring out a place where he can sit in the Class C. So those are the challenges we faced and the things we're still obviously working on. But start easy with your dog. Make it a pleasant experience with them, right? All right. Time now for Mike and Jen's story time. And this was a Canadian Rockies reality check.
We have another travel tale. This one about the time our free-spirited serendipity approach to RV travel met the immovable force of Canadian holiday traffic.
So this was several years ago, and it was during the first week of July. Great vacation week, right? Yeah, as we found out. So we're driving our trusty little Class C motorhome at the time toward what we thought would be an awesome wilderness adventure in the Canadian Rockies. We had been near Glacier National Park and said, let's go. We'll go up to the Rockies, the Canadian Rockies. We had a great trip planned.
We sure did. We were so excited. We'd been looking forward to this trip for months. Back then, our travel style was 100% pure serendipity. No reservations, no rigid plans. Just roll with whatever came our way.
And that approach always worked for us. And generally, it still does. We'd pull into an area, would find a nice campground with an opening, or would discover some perfect little boondocking spot, adventure around every corner.
After overnighting in Calgary, we headed west with hearts full of anticipation. First stop, the legendary Lake Louise. And let me tell you, it absolutely lived up to the hype.
Gorgeous. Doesn't even begin to describe. Lake Louise, as those of you who've been there know, towering mountains reflected in a shimmering turquoise lake. There's a trail that winds around the entire shoreline with breathtaking views at every single turn. It's gorgeous.
You could rent canoes and paddle right up to the shoreline, exploring hidden coves. It was like being inside a postcard. We're thinking, this is it. This is why we came.
And then reality hit. Hard.
We spent 2 solid hours, 2 hours, going from campground to campground, practically begging and pleading for any spot they might have available.
Nothing. Not a single opening anywhere. We tried boondocking spots, overflow areas. We even asked if we could park in a corner of a business parking lot somewhere, and every answer was the same.
They were just sorry they were completely full. So we thought, okay, let's head to Banff National Park. It was right next door. Surely one of the most beautiful parks in the world would have something for us, right?
Wrong. We were absolutely shocked to find every road in Banff was clogged with bumper-to-bumper traffic. Every trailhead looked like a shopping mall parking lot on Black Friday. One stream of parked cars. We measured it on the odometer along the road leading to a popular hiking trail we wanted to do. That was a half-mile long.
Every campground we called was booked solid. That's when a friendly park ranger delivered the news that changed everything.
You couldn't have picked a worse time to visit, she told us with a sympathetic smile. Canada Day, that's July 1st, Canada's Independence Day, and everybody in the country goes camping. And then she dropped the other shoe.
Yeah, the 4th of July in the States, so everybody in 2 countries are camping.
Yep, and it's like everybody in the United States decided to visit the Canadian Rockies that week too. And it's like that every year at that time. We never had considered it. We never really had checked the calendar. We'd walk straight into the perfect storm of North American outdoor enthusiasm. 2 countries celebrating their independence by making our lives incredibly dependent on finding somewhere to sleep.
By this point, we were exhausted, a little defeated, and facing the very real possibility of spending the night in a highway rest stop, which, by the way, we did, just east and south of Calgary.
Nothing quite humbles your travel confidence like trying to catch a few hours of sleep in a rest area with trucks rumbling by all night.
But here's where our story takes a turn for the better. We ended up driving almost all the way back to the U.S. border and finally finding a vacant spot at Waterton's Lake National Parks.
Yep. And you know what? It turned out to be absolutely incredible. Waterton butts right up against Glacier National Park in the U.S., so we had the best of both countries at our fingertips.
The hiking was phenomenal. The scenery was breathtaking. And honestly, it might have been even more beautiful than where we'd originally planned to stay.
Sometimes life has a funny way of redirecting us exactly where we need to be, even when we think we know better.
But we definitely learned our lesson about Banff and Lake Louise. Those places remain on our definitely going back list. With reservations made months in advance.
Yeah, no serendipity travel to that part of North America. So what's the moral to our story? There's a time and place for serendipitous travel, and there's a time for acknowledging that some destinations require a little more planning.
Overconfidence and always finding a spot can definitely end up with you sleeping to the soundtrack of highway traffic. Sometimes the most popular places are popular for a reason, and that means everyone else wants to be there too.
But here's the beautiful part. When your original plans fall through, you might just discover something even more amazing. Waterton Lakes gave us memories that we treasure to this day.
So whether you're a spontaneous traveler or a meticulous planner, remember to stay flexible. The best adventures often happen when we let go of our expectations and embrace what the road actually offers us.
And maybe, just maybe, avoid Canada's busiest national parks during the week when 2 entire countries are celebrating their independence.
Though if you do find yourself sleeping in a rest stop, just remember, it makes for a great story.
May your adventures always lead you exactly where you're meant to be. And that's this week's podcast.
Happy trails.